all your work is so beautiful and it's so geared to as positive intent. But you have a subject that, I don't know, it seems to come from somewhere, oral sex. Why did you pick the topic of oral sex? And how does this fit into your overall ideas of communication and love?
Well, honestly, Alan, I picked the topic because I want to talk about something that's very important, which I call the male dilemma. But if I label this video the male dilemma, less people would watch it than would watch a video on oral sex. And this topic is so important to our relationships, men to themselves, women to men, men to women, that I feel it's causing so much pain that I wanted people to watch the video.
So what is the dilemma of oral? I mean, it's something I like. I mean, I don't think I have a problem, but I do have a problem receiving in general. But sorry, what do you want to say about oral sex?
What I want to say is that oral sex is, I'm using it as a metaphor. And early in my career, I found that so many men were obsessed with receiving oral sex. And since I know that every behavior has a positive intent, I wanted to understand what the positive intent was. And as I explored the behavior, it came to me that men are so pressured to perform, they're ridiculed or shamed if they're not truly masculine. If we call a man a pussy, that's to humiliate him for being feminine. A woman can say, I want to cuddle. A man is not looked upon as favorably. And men are supposed to produce all the time. So being passive and just receiving and taking in is harder for men.
It's harder for them to sit back and receive pleasure.
Yeah, and it's a combination of having testosterone, which does make you more, I call assertive, not aggressive. So what I found is that our genitals are a source of great pleasure, but they can also be a source of shame because they have to do with bathroom stuff. And, you know, women who feel a lot of shame don't want anybody to perform oral sex on them because they see their vaginas as ugly and smelly. For men, that feeling of shame that comes from lots of things can be metaphorically placed into the penis. So when a woman takes your penis into her mouth, she's loving you in a very, very special way. For men who feel a lot of shame and men who feel that they have to be producing and doing and performing all the time, it's a time that they can be passive and receptive and still be masculine.
How does that reply to men in general and to receiving?
Okay, well, I just want to add one thing, that when I talk to men or work with men who have problems with erections, it's the most humiliating thing for them. A lot of men can have erections when they have oral sex, but not when they're trying to have intercourse. So that's another reason that the oral sex is so compelling. But what's happening is, I always say that every obsessive or compulsive or addictive behavior becomes repetitive because it's not designed to really fulfill the positive intent.
How does that apply to oral sex?
Okay, so if you have shame and you feel that you're not allowed to receive, then you will compulsively want or obsessively want oral sex because that isn't getting to the bottom of the issue. It's the same thing as a woman who is lonely and starts to fill her emptiness when she's binge eating, but binge eating doesn't really take away her emptiness.
Or masturbating, actually, right? Because people get into a habit,
Right.
and
Yes.
they get locked into a way of being.
Right. So, so what I wanted is for men to understand their behavior so that they can look at why they feel shame and check out, subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be telling you a lot about how to transform your feelings of shame and how to receive unconditional love, which is the antidote to shame. You can't be feeling shame if you receive unconditional love. And I want women to stop being so angry at men. I've heard women say over and over again, all he wants is a blowjob. He's using me as a sex object. And I want you women to understand that there is a male dilemma, and it's really painful. And it's more painful to you if you can see that they have a very deep positive intent that's just like yours. You want to feel lovable. You want to get rid of your feelings of shame. So I'm using this metaphor of oral sex to enlighten men about themselves, women about men, so that we can all have more fulfilling relationships.
So just sum up, how can men receive more? How can they be more with themselves in receiving?
Well, it will start with some compassion. If you're obsessed with oral sex, or even if you're not, but you feel that it means that you're loved really deeply, because it may not. Lots of people get oral sex from somebody who doesn't love them deeply. So be aware that you have this confusion and that you're really needing more unconditional love, and have compassion for yourself. And again, all the videos on this channel are going to tell you how to get more compassion, how to have more love for yourself, how to accept yourself, and how not to pay attention. If you have a thought, again, that, and going through your daily life, if you feel embarrassed or awkward, those are minor forms of shame. So any awkwardness means that you have shame, and that you need to do some of the work and use some of the tools that I describe on this channel.
And let yourself just lay back and enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself, but don't ignore all the other issues.
Thank you.